Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. Pull up a chair. We are back around the pay-per-view roundtable. This time we are talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag League 2020 and Best of Super Juniors 27 finals. Yes. 2 tournaments for the price of 1, and the finals here, a jam-packed card of 6 matches from Budokan Hall in Japan. And I am back with the master of ceremonies when it comes to New Japan Pro Wrestling on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, the man who knows New Japan past, present, and future. He is J News.
What do I usually say during this bit? That's right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your good brother J News, and we're back at it again. Roundtable pay-per-view review. As SP3 said, we're talking about World Tag League 2020 and Best of Super Junior 27. 3,564 fans in attendance. It looked really, really nice.
And then we also, I know he was about to just go at it. He's always ready to go. Once the camera points to it, this man is ready to go because he's on it when it comes to J News Japan. But we got another guy on here who just recently celebrated a 1-year anniversary of his review show on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. I mean, y'all both did, but he's another one with Dark Power. He is the man who reviews AEW Dark as well as UW and Primetime Live, as well as NWA Shockwave. He is also the co-host of Review of Honor, reviewing ROH TV every single week. He is the man of 1,004 numbers. This is the StatKing.
And we crunching the numbers, and we have 2, as you guys are saying, 2 tournaments, which normally are just have their own singular focus. But now, due to COVID, New Japan said, you're not going to stop us. We're going to get 2 for the price of 1, and that's what they're giving to us. And guys, I'm just happy to be here and glad to be able to share my thoughts with you about this amazing pay-per-view. So I don't want to stop J News anymore. I just let this man go. So, sir, take it away.
No, quick thing. A StatKing's intro almost as long as Yano's intro nowadays. So that plays favorably into what it is that we're getting into. All right, guys.
Long as nobody stomps on my crown or anything like that.
Before you get into it, J News, it's a reminder to you guys watching, give this video a thumbs up, share this video with all your wrestling fans and friends. Of course, there is the iCard down at the bottom. You can push that to subscribe. We are just 93 subscribers away from 1,000. We have only 2 to 3 weeks of 2020 left, guys. So get 90 of your friends involved and tell them to subscribe to this YouTube channel to keep you up to date with everything you have seen or you have missed in the wrestling world, and push the bell to press all for all notifications for all the great content right here on True Heel Heat. So my quarterback for World Tag League 2020, Best of Super Juniors 27 finals. J News, take it away.
All right, guys. This show took place yesterday, December 11th, 2020, live from the Nippon Budokan. Like I stated before, 3,564 fans in attendance. Looked like a pretty packed show, near to capacity. I think the Budokan holds about 5,000, 6,000 people, as per usual, right? Yep. So that was to have it more than 50% filled was nice to see from a fan perspective. But we'll get right into this. We had some tag matches to begin the show. So we'll have the first match come up here. Chaos Faction members Robbie Eagles, Sho, and Toru Yano going up against Bullet Club members Taiji Ishimori, Chase Owens, and Bad Luck Fale. To give you the numbers here, match time was 5 minutes and 53 seconds long. What can I say about this match that stood out to me? Not much, to be to be quite honest. I think just from a standpoint of what happened during the World Tag League throughout the tournament, just Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale, I guess, more or less making it more concrete that they're a tag team, putting together some tag team maneuvers. I like the grenade launcher finisher that they use, which is basically the straight jacket German suplex clothesline combination. I like that. I like seeing that. Robbie Eagles taking the pin here was more or less guaranteed, just because Show had a good showing. Toru Yano, for whatever reason, doesn't eat pins because he's the comedy man. And Taiji Ishimori, man. Yeah, exactly. Taiji Ishimori, man. It's been the talk of the Best of Super Junior tournament, how underrated he is, even though he is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and how much lack of love New Japan shows Taiji Ishimori. I'm not sure where he goes from here. Obviously, he has his Wrestle Kingdom match coming up, depending as to whatever happens with something that happened during the show that was announced, and we'll see how it goes from there. To give this match a grade due to its length of time and just full on, I would say it wasn't necessarily fuckery, but I would just say it was too short of a match, and it was not everybody really got their shit in. So I would say a good 2.5 stars. To start off, StatKing, sir. I'd like to see what your comments on this match were.
I gave this about 1.5 to 2, just because of the length. I mean, I'm used to short matches. I watch AEW Dark a lot, so I was like, all right, like it felt like a normal match to me, and not too long. But yeah, guys didn't really get all the spots in that they could have, but it just felt kind of like a weak opener, even though I know that New Japan doesn't. They build the matches up throughout the course of the card. So, but still, it just kind of felt like something was missing. And I will say I did like the attempt by Toru Yano to body slam Bad Luck Fale at the end and then get the KOPW Provisional Championship stomped and destroyed. But yeah, Taiji Ishimori definitely deserves a lot more respect, considering throughout the tournament, for some reason, despite being the junior heavyweight champion, he was not in the main event every night. It just happened to be some guy named Hiromu Takahashi. So I don't know, something about that feels a little off. But in a way, that's good, because it gives the character of Ishimori an edge. It gives him a reason to go out there and show and prove, and that's really what you want out of a dominant heel champion. So overall, 1.5 to 2 stars.
SP3, talk to me, brother.
And like to piggyback off of your guys' point with Taiji Ishimori, you would think that when the nights that Hiromu didn't main event, that at least Taiji Ishimori would main event, but no, Show versus Desperado main evented junior heavyweight Best of Super Junior show over Taiji Ishimori. Like it was crazy the amount of disrespect this man had, and he put in a very good to great tournament with great matches against Show, Robbie Eagles, Hiromu. He put in that work, and he's a very underrated wrestler. But there's a difference between being the champion and being the ace or the top star of a division, and for better or worse, Hiromu is that star. So I like that whole story. I like that ongoing storyline of the Best of the Super Juniors. I would say that was probably the best storyline that they had throughout the tournament. Another person who I feel is very underrated is Robbie Eagles. Robbie Eagles, in my opinion, was the MVP of the Best of the Super Junior. Robbie Eagles is someone that I didn't give enough credit to, and I didn't expect to say almost on a nightly basis that he had either the best match or the second best match on the card. And in my opinion, the best match of the Super Junior tournament before this night was Robbie Eagles versus Hiromu Takahashi on night 6, I believe. And it was a classic match, probably one of the most underrated matches of the year. Great stuff by him, but his matches with Show were great. His match with Ishimori was great. This man got a good match out of Dookie. So I just got to give credit to Robbie Eagles.
Hey, don't be shitting on the homeboy Doki, man. He did his thing in this tournament. went all out.
Doki, you call him Doki, I call him Dookie. So, anyways, and even his match with El Desperado was really good as well. In this match particular, I gave it 2 stars. It was not much to it, but I liked the little post-match angle with Yano and Bella Valet, which teases that we're gonna get a body slam challenge before the end of the year for the KOPW provisional trophy.
Yeah, or what's left of it.
What's left of it, exactly. I'm feeling like before the year ends, probably in the last show, probably on December 30th, that Road to Tokyo Dome show, we're probably going to get that match between Fale and Yano. And I'm feeling that Yano is going to find a way to finally get the body slam some way, somehow, and win that match for that night. We had the rising star of the World Tag League tournament, Toa Henare, the ace, Hiromu Takahashi, and the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada on one side versus those Empire boys, Jeff Cobb, Great-O-Khan, and Will Ospreay. 10 minutes, 45 seconds of a match that I think, for all intents and purposes, it told 2 different stories, right? Will Ospreay and Okada's story, obviously in one singular faction, and then the what's next, what's going to happen with Hiromu Takahashi going forward. Just a lot of speculation, a lot of not so positive vibes for the ace going forward in New Japan. He is Mr. Wrestle Kingdom. He's got no spot in Wrestle Kingdom right now. He's hurt. They've exploited him. They've exploited that knee. And there was more of this during this match. Jeff Cobb looking as strong as ever in the last, I would say, 3 shows. Just the power game on point. Great-O-Khan is still Great-O-Khan, I guess, if you just want to put it there.
He's there.
He's the dominator. Come on.
God damn it.
He went from the second best male member of Empire to the third, and there's only 3 members.
Exactly. Right. The one and only Will Ospreay, who does his thing every time out. His character building throughout the last month and a half to 2 months with what's happened with Okada has been great. He still looks incredibly good in the ring. I don't think he'll ever lose that until he gets, I don't know, into his 50s or 60s or whatever case is. So we'll be watching Will Ospreay do this for probably another 20 years at a top level. And that's cool to see. Result-wise, Jeff Cobb hit a devastating tour of the islands on Toa Henare to get the win here. Like I already stated as to what the stories of the match were during this match per se. But Jeff Cobb does make an appearance later on in this show outside of this particular match. SP3, tell me what your thoughts here on a match that I thought was a solid, I would say 3 stars.
I gave this match 3.25 stars. I thought it was a very well-worked, well-paced match. I like them putting over the Empire in their first time as a trio. I like that they have their own theme music as a trio as well. That was a good touch as well there. I think I have to confirm, but I think one of our good friends of the Armchair Booker podcast, John Kerning, actually made that song. So shouts out to him if he did. I will confirm that. That's just a rumor for now, but I will confirm it on a future New Japan podcast that we do here. But yeah, good stuff from all the guys. I like Henare. Henare really stepped up in this World Tag League, but I said this during the G1 Climax Finals, and I'm going to repeat myself again. Put some goddamn respect on Hiromu Takahashi's name. Like, y'all are acting like this man is old. This man is only 43, 44 years old. He's still one of the best performers in New Japan. Why y'all acting like he's done?
It's the story, SP3. They got us thinking that he's got nothing left in the tank. Those knees are gone. Hiromu Takahashi isn't the man of old. It's over. It's over.
It's karma for hitting so many dragon screws on other people.
Yeah.
Apparently, and the fact that it looks like they teased that his match at Wrestle Kingdom will be against Great Okan. I mean, come on, dog. Come on, man. Are you kidding me?
It's Great Okan on behalf of Father Time.
Jeez. Oh man, I just want more respect for Hiromu Takahashi. Mr. Wrestle Kingdom deserves more than this.
I also gave this match about 3 stars. I liked the match more for the story of what it was telling for the future, and less about the actual in-ring stuff of it. I don't really need to see Tanahashi versus Great Okan. Like, it doesn't interest me whatsoever. But Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay definitely does interest me. It's the former ace of New Japan in Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to be getting Great Okan, while the current ace is going to be getting Will Ospreay. Yeah, there needs to be a little bit more respect put on Tanahashi's name. The match itself was good. I did like the revamped music as well. That's always a nice touch. And yeah, getting their first win as a trio is big, especially when you're getting it, even if he's the one eating the pin, you're getting it over Tanahashi and Okada. That's just big in and of itself. It always will be. So on that regard, great booking for Empire, and I'm just interested to see what happens with Jeff Cobb down the road, especially in this show.
Something that I have been what happened during this match is something that I have been looking forward to for a few years now, and somebody got turned up a little bit during this match, and I was glad to see it. So we have members of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Sanada and Shingo Takagi, going up against members of the Bullet Club, Yujiro Takahashi and Evil.
Evil.
Yes, Evil. And I would say that there's no time on this match, to be quite honest. It lasted about 10 minutes or so, to be quite honest. But we've got a version of Sanada in this match after a certain piece of chicanery took place. Dick Togo came down along with Evil and Yujiro Takahashi, as he usually does. And Sanada and all 4 of these guys started off real quick right away. The match got to the outside of the match, got to the outside of the ring. Evil got Sanada far enough away from the ring at one point where Dick Togo was able to take part in some action, use the Garrett on Sanada and choke out Sanada, where Sanada got basically laid out on the ground, and Shingo Takagi was in the ring by himself getting double teamed. Sanada was being attended to by all the young lions and some medical staff. That lasted about, I would say, roughly about 2 or 3 minutes. And then out of nowhere, Sanada pops up out of his slumber and he attacks every single member of the Bullet Club in a rage that I have never seen before. And that, ladies, that gentleman right there is what I think Kota Ibushi was alluding to back in the G1, where he said he wanted to see the real Seiya Sanada show up and show out. And the way Sanada viciously attacked Evil, did away with Ref Kenta, tossed to the side Yujiro Takahashi, and just kept on going after Evil, no matter what the circumstance was illuminating, to say the least. And it seems I'm just right now, I'm speculating, but I see a future for Sanada on his own after Wrestle Kingdom. Not in a bad way parting with LIJ, but just to do his thing on his terms and his way. Solid match overall, to be quite honest. Shingo looks strong as he usually does. Yujiro, not much there. Evil playing up the heel essence to turn up Sanada the way that he did. Shingo Takagi hit Last of the Dragon to get the pin on Yujiro Takahashi. That story right there, where Sanada got turned up a bit more, and he just rose up out of that Cold Skull moniker and put some fire, and he said it with his chest, to say the least. That was cool. But to end the match, another part of the story, this is where the whole Jeff Cobb thing comes into play. After the bell rung and Sonata was still fighting with Evil towards the back and Takagi was in the ring by himself, Empire member Jeff Cobb basically did come out of nowhere and attacked Shingo Takagi, laid him out, took that never openweight championship and whispered sweet nothing in Takagi's ear, telling him, this is mine, after laying his ass out. So that feud right there also gets lit yet again. Jeff Cobb versus Shingo Takagi, we'll probably see that at Wrestle Kingdom 15. But I thought that this was probably outside of the 6-man match with Okada, Tanahashi, and Hanare and the Empire Boys. This had a lot of more story building parts to it. StatKing, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, you said one of the things I was thinking of. Cold Skull finally heated up, but yeah, let's just say right now that Jay News' 2020 MVP of Sonata and Jay News' 2021 MVP of Sonata is already on the way to having what will be probably a momentous and memorable Wrestle Kingdom. I think that they're definitely giving us Sonata versus Evil. That's one of the things that you kind of have to see when you have an event that's going to be spread over 2 nights. There's got to be matches that fill up the card, and they're doing a pretty good job of giving us some great undercard matches. We now have two more matches that are kind of getting set up just from this tag match alone with Shingo and Jeff Cobb and Sonata and Evil. I like the match. Just seeing Sonata just completely lose it and just go off on people is amazing. I liked it. The Shingo Takagi, Jeff Cobb, that's one that I'm really going to be looking forward to. That is a really great power on power when it comes to wrestling. And Jeff Cobb hitting that Tour of the Islands on Shingo Takagi it's really, I mean, the move itself is just in general great. But seeing it on Shingo Takagi and knowing what it takes to get Shingo Takagi off the ground, that's really cool. And I just like the interaction between the two of them where Jeff's like reaching for the belt and he grabs it and Shingo's like, that's my belt. Like, you can give it now. You can give it now. And then he's like, one hand he can't grab it. 2 hands he can't grab it. That was a really great visual. So overall, I gave the match kind of I'd say 3 stars.
Oh, I didn't go that high with this match. I gave the match itself 2 1/4. It was about 5 minutes. It wasn't even 10 minutes.
Oh, was it?
But it was more of an angle than the match. So if you're rating the angle 3 stars, then I can see where you're coming from. The match itself was about 2 1/4 stars. I love the angle. I love Sonata and Evil being the trigger to bring out this side of Sonata makes sense due to their connection. And on this night with the World Tag League finals being here and them being former winners of the World Tag League, it made sense for it to happen here and spark up this feud for Wrestle Kingdom, which is a match that I'm definitely interested in. Where Wrestle Kingdom cards, even if it's over 2 nights, you don't usually see non-title matches unless it has like a strong storyline, and this has it due to their former partnership. So I love the move here and giving Sonata a firm place on the card where, the match was good with Zack Sabre Jr. last year, but it didn't have any story juice to it. This one does. So I like this as a juxtaposition from last year. Shingo versus Jeff Cobb, man. I'm just really looking forward to these big boys beating the crap out of each other, and it's gonna be good. Jeff Cobb just has a new feel to himself now that he's a heel. He's a part of Empire. He has a certain swagger that he didn't have before, and you can tell that he's confident in his ability in the ring. He had one of the greatest matches of his career in the G1 versus Tomohiro Ishii. This move to Empire has given him a new point of view, and I think that Shingo has been the MVP for New Japan in a lot of ways in 2020, and I think he's going to be off to a good start in 2021 with this being his never openweight championship matchup. So I really enjoyed this angle more than match because it set up 2 big matches for Wrestle Kingdom.
All right, so the 4th match of the night, we have a mixed new tag team here, a combination, should I say, Kota Ibushi and Master Wato, the man who's on his way to the Grand Master, against members of Los Ingobernables de Japón, double champ himself, Tetsuya Naito, and his main man, Bushi. They went into this tag team match, 10 minutes, 6 seconds. It was a special tag match. I didn't necessarily know what to expect out of this match. Obviously, with Naito and Ibushi going one-on-one on January 4th, it was more to develop their storyline, but how much more development does their storyline need at this point is really the question. And yeah, I've been saying this all tournament long about Master Wato, with all the grief we gave him at the beginning of the year, with the gimmick and the look and everything else in between, and even how bad some of his wrestling was to start out because he had the jitters or he was nervous or whatever have you. The kid's improved. He went 4-5, or I think it was he split 5-5 with his record. 4-5, right?
Yeah.
At his record in the Best of Super Juniors. He didn't look lost out there. He looked confident. I think the story during commentary was, though, that he listened too much to his senpais, right? He was listening too much to his elders, and he didn't come up with his own game plan and things of that nature. So he's taking everything and all this advisement into account. And then hopefully in the future we'll see a more, I don't know if we want to say creative, a more evolved version of Master Wato. But I think the evolution of Wato throughout this year, in 2020, has been a good one, to say the least, because if he would have kept up with what we saw earlier in the year, man, he just would sandbagging, teabagging more dirt on the freaking name or whatever the case is. But he was solid throughout the tournament. I would have to say about that. Ibushi gets the win in this match, hitting the Kamigoye on Bushi, because we know that Naito is not going to eat the pin at any time before Wrestle Kingdom here. Man, I feel for Bushi, man, because Bushi had a solid tournament, right? It was the whole come from behind type of thing, but solidifying himself in the junior division yet again, and having solid matches. Nothing too crazy, but at the end of the day, he was still able to hold up his end of the bargain when it came to certain matches. And you ain't beating Kota Ibushi though, man. That ain't happening.
Someone had to take the fall here.
Someone had to get the pin here, or whatever. But yeah, the story still stands. It's Ibushi. It's Naito. Night one. Who's gonna win? There's a lot of implications here, though, right? The surrounding implications, and I wanted to have this conversation with you, gentlemen, because I don't get to talk about what happens outside of New Japan. But now that I have you here, I think it's best suited for me to place this conversation within context. So, hypothetically speaking, right? Let's say Kota Ibushi goes into Wrestle Kingdom and he wins against Tetsuya Naito. The rumor mill has started, right? I think you guys might know where I'm going here. And if Ibushi wins his match against Naito and he defeats Jay White and he walks out the double champ, there is a certain American wrestler who's also a champion at this point, AEW champion to be,
NJPW champion,
NJPW mega campeon right now, who is Kenny Omega.
Laredo Kid ain't taking that from him.
Right. So Kenny Omega seems to be collecting belts, if I have it correct, StatKing. That seems to be what he's going to be doing.
The belt collector or the belt cleaner?
The belt cleaner, the belt collector, whatever you want to call him. Rich Swann is next. I think the tune-up match. He hasn't been deemed all elite as of yet. But Nick Aldis went up against, or he's going up against, Brian Pillman Jr. Today, if I'm not mistaken, for the 10 pounds of gold. Aldis will win this match, but he'll probably talk his shit about getting a win over a kid who's on AEW TV, and he needs better competition at some point, right? So in comes Kenny Omega to face the NWA champion at some time down the road, and it seems that there might be a partnership or some sort of an agreement brewing between all these different wrestling companies, and New Japan might be one of these future vested wrestling companies. And if Ibushi is double champion and Omega does tend to collect all these other belts, might we see a one-on-one confrontation in the future between the former Golden Lovers themselves, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. Can this happen? Gentlemen, weigh in with me here in the fantasy booking world that is fandom of us marks.
So I had the pleasure of appearing on Blunt Impact this week, which you guys can catch on our YouTube channel, of course. And I was with Chris and Ness, and this is exactly the scenario that I brought up with them when we were talking about Kenny's appearance and what it could potentially lead to. And yes, it's my hope that we do get a Golden Lovers one-on-one match with all the belts on the line, just because that would just be absolutely incredible. But if this were to happen, I don't know where it would happen. Like, I don't where on the planet it would need to happen. It certainly can't happen at Daly's place, that's for sure.
Sure.
I don't know where that's going to be. Maybe that is down the road, a Madison Square Garden kind of thing, like a super card. New Japan Ring of Honor's their old super card thing. I don't know where it's going to happen, but I know that if it does happen, it will be absolutely insane. And if this is where they are leading us towards, to quote Kenny's song, I hear that battle cry. I'm absolutely 100% here for it. Collect all the belts, and in the process, the people he's going to beat on the way. Rich Swann, the story of Rich Swann and what it took for him to get the Impact World Championship. Nick Aldis, the most dominant NWA World's Champion in the past, 5-6 years. That's just what he's going to do to get to Kota Ibushi is going to be absolutely crazy, and can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
I can confirm a few things. I can confirm that from Wrestling Observer newsletter that Kenny Omega will headline at least some Impact Wrestling pay-per-views.
Correct.
So that means that we're definitely going to get Swann versus Omega. We already saw the tease for it this on Kenny's first appearance on Impact Wrestling there. The whole Nick Aldis situation, that's an interesting one there, because like StatKing said, he is one of the more dominant 700 days plus as NWA World Heavyweight Champion. That would be an interesting one to kind of give Kenny another title in there. I talked about this on True Heel Heat, and I brought up this scenario exactly. It's a great story, first of all, because, Kenny is basically, his mind is being poisoned by Don Callis. Don Callis has kind of been in Kenny's head for a while now. So the fact that he has poisoned him, made him become the cleaner again, it creates an interesting scenario, because we remember, you're being us New Japan fans, it was Kota Ibushi that saved Kenny from going down the dark path of the Bullet Club before, and they created the Golden Elite together, and they reunited the Golden Lovers. So can Ibushi save Kenny from himself again, or will Kenny succumb to his dark side? It's a very interesting, complex, and layered story, and it adds a lot, and I am here all for it. I don't care if it's in Japan at Dominion. I don't care if it's at Double or Nothing next year, even if it is in Daly's place. I don't care, because they can have fans there. As long as there's fans there to make some noise, I am here for it. If it's in Madison Square Garden, I am here for it. Wherever it is, this needs to happen. We need to see this match, and Kenny Omega having some type of relationship with New Japan is all good in my eyes. I can also confirm from Wrestling Observer newsletter that Tony Khan is reportedly in talks with Rocky Romero of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So there is already talks on his way. Harold May being out of the way makes it easier for this to happen. I am here for it. New Japan needs to become a part of this balance of power shift that is going on in professional wrestling. The AEW world, people ask, what does AEW have to gain from a partnership with Impact? It's just step one of a bigger step that they're making, bringing the wrestling world together that the WWE has torn apart over the last 3 decades. So we need to realize that this is good. This is good for us, 4 decades, actually, because it was in the 80s that they broke apart the National Wrestling Alliance. But having a new alliance between all these companies is good for professional wrestling. It's good for us being content providers for professional wrestling and create different conversations just like this. As far as the match that we were talking about, the tag team match, I will give that also 3.25 stars. I thought Kota Ibushi and Naito's interplay was great. I loved the story that they have going into January 4th with, are these guys going to kill each other, and is Switchblade Jay White going to have easy pickings on January 5th? That's a great, interesting story, and not one that I directly thought about when they created this new scenario with the main event. But it's great. These guys are going to kill each other on January 4th, and we will see what is left before Switchblade has his opportunity on the 5th.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because both of them each try to sacrifice their necks whenever they face each other, and it just so happens that the Blade Runner targets the neck. So it's just that in and of itself is kind of funny. But J News, tell the truth. You're already booking Wrestle Kingdom 16, Sonata versus Omega for the double go there.
Well, no. I feel like from the looks of it, it seems that the Kenny Omega storyline is going to take him being the belt collector, right? It's going to take its toll over the year of 2021. So we might actually see, if it comes to fruition, obviously, we might actually see Kenny versus Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 16. So I think that would be the bigger show for everyone to be a part of, being that Wrestle Kingdom as a show seems to be the wrestling equivalent of a secondary sort of WrestleMania in a sense.
Yeah.
So for them to do it on that stage in the Tokyo Dome, I think would be the best thing to do. You know.
So yeah, I just find it hard because I feel like in this whole scenario, the hero is not going to be Ibushi. I don't think Ibushi is the guy that's going to take down Omega. I think Omega is going to succumb to the dark side and overcome Ibushi due to that dark side. And I think the hero out of all of this is Hangman Page. And I can't see it going that long, a year later, a year after Wrestle Kingdom, that Hangman Page. I think that would do more damage to Hangman Page. We can't wait too long to pull the trigger on this young man. He is young, but we can't wait that long because I'm a ROH fan, and I saw what they did with Tyler Black, where they waited too long to pull the trigger on there, and then when they finally pulled the trigger, that young man signed with WWE. So you don't want to wait that long on someone who is a hot commodity and could be your next big baby face.
A part of me feels that there's going to be something that Hangman's going to be doing that's going to be special during 2021 outside of this Kenny Omega storyline. And that has it. I don't know what, I can't tell you why I have that feeling, but I feel like he's going to be a star of his own outside of that heavyweight championship picture. And the start of it is going to be this whole partnership with the Dark Order boys, right? These guys are comedy gold. We love them. John Silvers, Alex Reynolds, and the rest of those guys. But that's going to be a little bit of a start for Hangman to see as to where he might go. That TNT championship AEW scene is not as crowded as we believe it to be. So, I don't know. I'm just spitting out things or whatever the case is, but I think my thought process is long-term booking is what New Japan likes. It's what the EVPs of AEW like. That's what the NWA has been built on. So at the end of the day, I feel like that might just be what we end up getting if everything comes to fruition. It'll be Ibushi versus Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 16, and if not, then if we get it earlier, cool. Why the hell not? And then we'll go forward from there. But this particular match, it just set up, the future match here. I don't think it's gonna be easy pickings for Switchblade come Wrestle Kingdom 15. I don't know why. Just from a storyline standpoint, Evil Ibushi. It's like when he gets that dark side in him, it's like a Kuma in a sense, right? Street Fighter reference here and stuff like that. It's like he turns it up, ain't nobody touching him or whatever. And I feel like if there seems to be some sort of interference, or if Ibushi runs into some sort of an old feud, or someone comes out during his match versus Switchblade, like that switch turns on, he hits like a vicious ass Kamigoye, knocks out Jay White in a quick semblance, and he retains these titles. And then here goes Ibushi into this. Where's he gonna go? Is he gonna stay on the dark side? Is he gonna stay on the light side? What are we gonna get out of Ibushi type shit? From a storyline standpoint, I'd like to see that sort of a thing, so it doesn't become very easily predictable to tell what Ibushi's gonna do in the future and stuff like that. From a storyline standpoint, I gave this match 3 stars.
It was 2.5 to 3, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Say 2. We'll so split the hairs, 2 3/4.
World Tag League Finals here. The G.O.D, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, being flanked by the Master Heater himself, G.O.D, versus Finn Juice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson, the 2019 World Tag League champs and winners.
Look, man, Finn Juice, they are an amazing tag team. They are really solid baby faces, and they work pretty well with crowds. But ain't nobody realer than Gorillas.
Yeah.
And after 2 times being in the finals and losing.
No, this 3 times. 3 times before.
No, 2 times.
This is their
This is the 4th?
They're their 4th.
I thought it was only 2. Oh wow,
This
you're right.
Their 4th World Tag League Finals, and that's
Even
why,
better.
Yeah.
Even better. After 3 times getting almost to the promised land, all it takes is a briefcase to the head, and like that's all they really needed. I don't know why they didn't think of this earlier, but hey, I guess that's why you have people like Kenta and Jado and Gedo now in the stable. But
justice for Jado. Gino Gambino had me dying during this whole match.
Kevin, it's trending worldwide. Kevin, it's trending worldwide.
He liked my tweet. I tweeted that hashtag justice for Jado, and he liked it.
Also, shout out to Kevin Kelly for during that Ibushi Wado match saying, Master Wado, he's on the way to the Grandmaster. He's not there yet, but he's on the way. But no, this was a phenomenal tag match. I really, really enjoyed this tag match. Just the number of false finishes but they felt organic to me. At least it felt as though Finn Juice is just finding a way. Juice Robinson does not want to lose this match. He keeps trying. He doesn't. He's like, I gotta find a way. This is my first time like really back in New Japan since the pandemic. I gotta find a way. Let's be 2-time champions. Let's go get Dangerous Tekkers. Let's do this. And Tama Tonga is just like, I mean, no, like that's not. We've been denied for too long. I didn't shave off my beard for this. Like, what the hell? So this was a really great tag match. I really enjoyed it. I gave this one 3 and 3.5 stars.
I went higher for this one. I gave this 4 stars. I felt like this was a great match and exceeded any and all expectations that I had for it. I feel like this is the best match these 2 teams have had together, where they've had a good match at Wrestle Kingdom last year, a good match in this tournament. I didn't really like the match where the Gorillas won the tag team titles back. I thought that had too much interference, but this had just enough interference where it worked. The misdirection of Jado getting involved and then Kenta coming out with the briefcase. Not only did it help the Gorillas get the victory, but it sets up Kenta versus Juice for the briefcase at Wrestle Kingdom, which is all good in my book. I just really enjoyed this match. Like you said, the false finishes were great. The tag sequences were awesome. It just felt like Finn Juice was always one step ahead of the Gorillas until the end, and the Gorillas overcame. The finally World Tag League champions. They are now in the conversation, top 2 at the very least, of the greatest tag team in New Japan history.
Can't disagree with that at all. Grade first, I also gave this match 4 stars. To list it out, this match went 22 minutes and 15 seconds long. Tag matches don't get that sort of time unless it's pay-per-view quality stuff on AEW Dynamite or an AEW pay-per-view. Let's be realistic here. Best tag match of any of the tag matches during World Tag League, even though the match with Hanare and Tanahashi versus G.O.D was really, really good as well. But this took the cake. SP3, like you said, man. To piggyback off of what you said and what StatKing said, yo, Juice Robinson wouldn't let this get. He wouldn't have died, man. He was not trying to lose. You know what I'm saying? He was not trying to lose. And I all praise due to Juice, man, because it's just to see the transformation of the wrestler, the talent, the motivation, from what we used to see on NXT TV 5 years ago, has been amazing, you know. And sometimes I think that wrestling fans don't seem to understand that the WWE isn't the end all be all. That's not where everyone goes to be the best at their craft. Sometimes guys go to other companies and that's when they have their best runs, you know. And Juice Robinson showing that tenfold in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I got to give him props for everything there. David Finlay looked good. I think the kid in the future might be slated to be a champion of his own someday. Someday. Not anytime soon, but someday. And these G.O.D. boys, they good. They real good. And I can't put anything past them. Something came to mind with me once they won the World Tag League. And I'm going to mention the Kenta thing in a moment. And the whole dynamic of what's going on with Kenny Omega and the possible partnerships with the other wrestling companies. Let's say all this stuff happens and agreements are in place. Does the World Tag League for 2021 look completely different? What other tag teams will be involved in that tournament? G.O.D. as a tag team, as a true tag team, when's the last time they faced some serious opposition? I'm talking about serious opposition. You know what I'm saying? I was like, they don't got tag teams the caliber of FTR in New Japan. We the Young Bucks are the Young Bucks and stuff like that.
I mean, I would argue GOD's greatest matches against the Young Bucks from Fighting Spirit Unleashed 2-3 years ago. That was their greatest match ever.
And then not necessarily, obviously fantasy booking here, not necessarily knowing what's going to happen with Ethan Page, but the North from Impact versus G.O.D., that'll be a dope match to see.
My dream match for G.O.D. is the guys that I feel like they took their spot. The Good Brothers. Good Brothers versus G.O.D. That's a dream match because of the history, because you have two of the guys that started the Bullet Club together. That's just a dream match in the making. So we've already seen there's a connection between Impact and New Japan. If we get this new wrestling alliance, that's one of the top match for G.O.D. that I want to see.
I want to see G.O.D. versus LAX. That's a match I think I'd be really interested in seeing myself.
That would be super dope, man. That's the mark. That's the geek in most wrestling fans who love the athleticism and the sport of professional wrestling, right? The storyline stuff, obviously it's important, right? Because we need the drama, we need the spectacle and all that stuff, or whatever the case is. But like LAX versus GOD, son, like I want to see that.
And don't forget GOD versus.
Oh man,
that'd be insane.
That would be insane. That would be completely insane. Yeah. There's just so much from a fantasy booking standpoint. But if it's able to happen, if this alliance, if this partnership is ready to go down, these tournaments, the New Japan tournaments, are gonna turn on their heads. The Best of Super Juniors, the G1s, the World Tag Leagues, the New Japan Cup. For all intents and purposes, obviously, I'll be covering this later. The Super J Cup, they're all gonna turn on their freaking heads, man. If these alliances come through, and the wrestling world, the wrestling industry needs that. To be quite honest, the WWE product, outside of a few storylines and characters, isn't what it's been cracked up to be for the last I don't know how long now, right? So to get this sort of not just caliber of wrestling, but like new storylines, fresh faces, just innovative stuff, is more of the mark of the revolution that Cody was talking about And I know Cody's a sore issue for somebody here on the panel. But
they made their peace.
Exactly. I made up with him at All In. That was 2 years ago.
Water under the bridge, water under the bridge.
I mean, he still hates it when I wear that shirt, but
but yeah, the possibility of what might be happening is large, and the wrestling fan's gonna benefit from it. Not just the boys in the back, not just the girls in the back. And me to mention that, this quick mention, if any of this happened, the girls are going to be the biggest winners if done right. Because the Impact Women's Knockouts division, the ladies that are in AEW, the girls that are in the NWA, and some of the indie girls that are working currently who might get called up later and stuff like that, this might finally transition them into a bigger spotlight. But outside of that,
sir,
yeah.
don't forget the fact that Bushiroad also owns
Stardom. I know. That's one of those things where it's like Stardom.
Let's inject some Mayo Iwatani into people's veins.
Dude, there was a quick mention of this shit. I don't know why I have to mention it, but I'll mention it anyways. There's this one guy that I started following on Instagram due to British female wrestler Aaliyah James. Thank God for that young lady. Oh man. But all intents and purposes, he always posts these Japanese matches from Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT and stuff like that. And I've been catching up on that stuff, and I'm like, yo, I'm missing out. Like, I'm really missing out. Because this, like, some of that stuff is so insane, and it's crazy. And then just the pure wrestling athleticism of it, especially between the Joshi girls and the girls from Stardom. I'm like, yo, why are we watching American women's wrestling? Like, this is nuts. This is nuts. So thank you, StatKing, for bringing that up. It's the endless possibilities of whatever can come from all of these alliances is ridiculous. But to settle back in on this World Tag League thing and the G.O.D, yo, they finally men on a mission here, and they finally won the big one for themselves. And 2021, sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit for the G.O.D and the potential of the Bullet Club as a faction, as a whole. So that's that. And we'll go on to the main event. This match.
Oh boy.
You know what, SP3, you are the man who got me on the Hiromu Takahashi bandwagon.
Captain of the Hiromu Takahashi bandwagon, ladies and gentlemen. I have not been this happy professional wrestling match in 2020 since this whole pandemic has started. Like you guys don't understand how happy I was watching this, and oh my God! Just the sequences, the dramatic submissions. I'll give the synopsis for you, J News, on this one. It's Hiromu Takahashi versus El Desperado for the Best of the Super Juniors 27 finals. This match went over 30 minutes. This was not your typical junior heavyweight matchup. This didn't have the high flying, the spot fest type of atmosphere, and it wasn't even the type of match like we saw with like Shingo and Ospreay last year. This one was about the story. This one was about the emotion, and they kind of told the story very well. This was in an instance, and I made this argument a lot during the G1, that I preferred the Japanese commentary over the English commentary. This was one where you needed the English commentary to tell you the story, and Kevin Kelly, Gino Gambino, they did excellent in their job. Chris Carlton as well did excellent in their job of telling this story of these two young men being young lions together since 2010 and going at it, and Hiromu coming into this tournament saying he doesn't hate El Desperado anymore, but the way El Desperado cheated to beat him on night 2 of the Best of the Super Juniors made him hate him again, and you felt the hatred between between these two men, and El Desperado pulling out all the stops, using steel chairs to beat down the injured leg that he injured earlier in the tournament of Hiromu. Kept going for numero dos over and over again, almost cranking it up till he was standing, and Hiromu reversing that into a Canadian destroyer. One of the best reversals I've seen all fucking year was that move right there. That was ridiculous. And Hiromu letting the hatred control him to the point that he ripped off El Desperado's mask, and El Desperado showing that he was willing to pull out all the stop and sacrifice everything and taking off the mask willingly. I had goosebumps even just talking about it again. That was a goosebumps, shocking, emotional moment that you heard the gasps. These people are not supposed to be making noise with their mouth in Budokan Hall, but every single fan had the gasp when he took off his mask. And I've seen people online, females who are wrestling fans who love New Japan, my gay wrestling fans as well. And I'm gonna say it as a straight man with the love of my life and two 9-month-old twins. El Desperado is a beautiful man. He's a beautiful man that does not need a mask. He does not need.
I was like, where's this going?
He is a beautiful man. I was just like, why is he wearing a mask? It was just like, yo, I was just totally enamored with this matchup. This matchup had every single thing you would want from a professional wrestling match. It ended with Hiromu hitting the time bomb number 1 and El Desperado kicking out. He then hit his suplex flatliner once again, and then time bomb 2 for the win in over 30 minutes. This was a phenomenal New Japan Pro Wrestling main event, and I think this is the first time on a pay-per-view roundtable since I gave the cinematic match of Stadium Stampede for Double or Nothing, but I am going the full fucking boat, 5 stars.
All right, SP3 StatKing. Your thoughts, sir, your thoughts.
This was a 5-star match. There's just no. anybody who's giving this under 5 stars is just deluding themselves or is attempting to troll you. Listener, viewer, however you are imbibing this content, if they're telling you this is anything other than 5 stars or more, they are completely deluding you or trying to troll you. This was incredible. As Sid's saying, that reversal into the Canadian Destroyer, amazing. The character work and the commentary telling the story. I had to go back and I'm looking through it and I'm like, oh wow, Desperado was the guy who gave Hiromu his first loss when they were back during from 2012 is how far this is going back. Basically, this is 8 years of some kind of history between these guys. It's not all the time. It's whenever they do get matched up against each other, but it is there. And this was told beautifully. The only thing that threw me was I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that this guy is getting his mask ripped off and then he's going to lose? I was like, oh my God, what?
So to be fair,
that upset me because I was like, wait a minute. He just went through all that and then he was like, nah, fuck this shit, bro. I don't need this mask. I'll take you out anyway. I'll take you out with the whole face showing. And then he still lost. I was like, oh my God, why?
To be fair, from a lucha libre standpoint, even if the mask gets ripped off when it comes off or it's a mask versus hair match, the guy who loses the mask always loses. If he gets it torn down, if it's bleeding through the mask, the majority of the time,
I understand it. It just upsets me. It just upsets me. This crowd knows, and all New Japan crowds know, they're not supposed to say anything or make any noise other than clapping or stamping their feet. The fact that they gasped, the fact that that moment was so powerful and meant so much that it overrode the one of the rules that they know in their head and that they've been able to keep throughout. Because there have been, let me not gasp worthy, but there have been moments throughout post-pandemic New Japan that people could have said something. They could have vocalized. They didn't. They kept themselves under control. But this guy losing his mask and then willingly removing it, that was the thing that broke a crowd. And so that is just an amazing way to sum this up.
But my take on this is how personal this was, right? How personal this was. And that's when the best feuds, the best storylines take place in professional wrestling. How personal was it versus Dusty and Ric Flair? How personal was that, right? And when we felt hard times, when we knew that hard times was something that everyone went through, we felt that. And in this match, the minute that Hiromu Takahashi ripped his mask off of his face, the match completely flipped. It turned into something completely different. I said to myself, because I grew up watching Lucha Libre on Spanish television, I was like, holy shit, this match is going to turn on its head. And it absolutely did. And then like StatKing said, when he willingly took off the rest of that ripped mask, showing off that beautiful face of his, because that's one handsome son bitch, or whatever the case is, and he still laid it in. He still got his licks in, still putting on numero dos. And I'm there like, what am I watching? What am I watching? Because it was like watching a movie. The storyline unfolded in front of your eyes, and you couldn't take your eyes off the screen. And I said to myself, yep, the storyline made the match, because these guys can wrestle circles around anyone. The storyline, the way it was told, commentary, perfect. Gambino, Kevin Kelly, you damn son of a bitch. I, at this point in my life, will say right here on this show, have made me change my mind about 20 some odd years later. I am now you're no longer my worst commentator on the list and whatnot. That's just out of the window. The story was told beautifully. Long-term storytelling, guys. Long-term storytelling. New Japan Pro Wrestling excels at it. There's just nothing else like it. And this build, how dangerous their matches are usually, right? And like I said, how personal this was. I'm like, man, what are they gonna do? And then what I didn't know happened, or how it happened, right? So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So when Hiromu had Desperado in the fireman's carry, and he beeled him into the corner like he usually does, is that when Despy got the marks on his back, or is that during a separate spot in the match? Because after the match was over, Despy's back was fucked up.
I think it was the fireman's carry move.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, that's pretty mean. And then Despy was bleeding from the mouth at one point, or whatever the case is. And I'm like, yo, this shit went this went off script. That's the way I saw it. Like, when the mask came off, I was like, yo, they're going off script. I don't know what the plan is here. They're doing whatever they want to do or whatever. And it just came off like the realest thing ever. And after the match was said and done, and Hiromu wins the match, I think that none of us mentioned the fact that Hiromu won the match, even though.
No, I did. I said time bomb 2 for the win.
Right, for the win.
His second best of the Super Junior.
Right, his exactly. He did win his second best of Super Junior tournament here. He got on the mic and he issued a challenge. Right, Hiromu said, "Yeah, no doubt. I know I have a shot at the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, but I don't want to think about that right now. I want the winner of the Super J Cup first, so that I can prove who the best Super Junior is, and then go on to face the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Taiji Ishimori." And when he said that, and Chris Charlton was basically translating everything he was saying back, I thought to myself immediately, because I know the card for the Super J Cup, and I'm there like, who's the best draw out of the 8 guys? Because they have to make the match, right? They haven't said that the match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match is on night 1, so it can be on night 2.
Yeah.
So at this point, I would say Hiromu's going to have, well, possibly, right? Hiromu's going to have action on both nights.
Yep.
Right? Whoever the winner of the Super J Cup is, Hiromu wins, right? And then he goes on to face Taiji Ishimori. Now, in my head, from a booking standpoint, well, who's the best guy to put up against Hiromu out of the field of 8
I was gonna say we're gonna find out in the first round, in my opinion.
Sure.
I think the match to watch in the first round is Leo Rush versus El Phantasmo, because either one of those guys would be money against Hiromu Takahashi.
That's what I thought, and then for me, the extra added part to it was Leo Rush still has a little bit of that WWE luster on him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and LP's been gone so long, right, off of TV.
LP makes the better story because of his history with Ishimori. Yeah. So right. I think if you're going for somebody that has history in New Japan, has the history with Ishimori, then it's him. Leo Rush would give you a just completely different type of matchup with Hiromu, though. That's the one I want to see. I think I have Leo Rush winning the Super J Cup.
Yeah, I'm with you there, because the other matches in the tournament, from a draw standpoint, like the stars of the Super J Cup, it's LP, it's Leo Rush and stuff, and then everybody else kind of falls to the wayside in a sense. Not saying that the matches between any of the other competitors in the Super J Cup would be bad; they would all be great. It's just from a star power kind of a thing, which match draws more. And I think that Leo Rush match versus Hiromu would be something. It would be a freaking spectacle. That would be a spot fest all onto itself. But like you said, though, Sid, the El Phantasmo Taiji Ishimori storyline, it's there, and they're both members of the Bullet Club, and obviously New Japan likes the whole repeat winners of tournament thing, right? So it's like it doesn't seem odd if LP wins the Super J Cup again, goes up against Hiromu, and then does LP win? Does LP get the win against Hiromu on night one, and then go up against Taiji Ishimori? And does he finally become the Gaijin Super Junior heavyweight champion and stuff like that? We'll see. But that's interesting, man. That's an interesting story there. I thought it's so weird, but cool, right? That Chris Bay is a part of the Super J Cup. But it's like, is he gonna have a strong showing? You know? At this point. And for me, like, my sleeper pick, because I think that match would be incredible as well, even though he's too young, and he hasn't been in the business long enough to get that sort of a match. But Blake Christian versus Hiromu Takahashi would be some next level shit. And I think you're overlooking TJP versus Hiromu. Listen. I've been watching Mr. Perkins for 10 years. You get kind of tired of watching TJP after a while. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. I'm not too interested in that. I'm not too interested in TJP versus Hiromu.
I just want to see TJP versus Hiromu so that TJP can continue to boldly claim that he has never learned anything from being in the ring with any opponent after he was in the ring with Kota Ibushi. So, like that part of it is just like, come on, bro.
Nah, but just because of what I've seen out of Blake Christian in New Japan Strong, you've covered him in the UWN stuff as well, I think, JP, right? Yeah. Dude's freaking phenomenal, man.
Yes.
And from a Super Junior standpoint, it's like, yo, they have to, that style still has to be in the forefront of what it is that New Japan does, because they're the only company that really sets that style to the forefront. So it's like and they have so many possibilities. But from yet again to the point that I was making, I think that whoever wins the Super J Cup, they're gonna have a great spot come Wrestle Kingdom. But yo, first of all, I didn't know Zima was still a thing in Japan. By the way, the post match interview.
Oh well,
got a bucket of Zimas next to him and stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't know they still sold Zimas. Who still drinks that shit?
Hiromu does. Well, we got to put the cherry on top of this round table, fellas. Let's go through who we have as the MVP of World Tag League 2020 Best of Super Juniors 27 Finals. I'm going to start things off with Hiromu Takahashi, my man. No, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to be biased. I'm not going to be J News with Sonata. I am going to go
Nothing wrong with that, brother.
I am gonna go actually with El Desperado. El Desperado had his greatest match ever on this night, and he deserves the MVP.
Shit, hell yeah, man, Despy, bro, without question. Even though he took the loss, from a character standpoint, how personal this match got, everything, man. And then on top of everything else, he took the mask off, and the man is fucking pretty. What are you doing? He's winning. Do you agree, StatKing?
Definitely Despy, because when he's removing the mask, just because of the contacts, the intensity in the eyes, just because of the contacts alone, and the rest of the face paint, that alone just looks badass. He can just come out just like that and be perfectly fine. But yeah, Despy, just amazing work.
All right, LVP of this show. I am going to start it off once again, and I'm going to say, even though he's my boy, Toru Yano. Toru Yano failed to body slam Bad Luck Fale, got his trophy broken. So I am going to say Toru Yano. StatKing?
I'll go with Toru Yano as well. That poor trophy. The trophy did nothing to Fale.
J News?
I'll take a left on this one. LVP is the ace. It's Hiromu Takahashi.
Don't upset Sid like that.
It's tough to say. I think it's more how engaged and how involved the storyline has me right now. I just don't know where he's gonna go, bro. I just don't know. And the way he got carried out yet again for like the 7th time of 10 shows, he gets carried out again. I don't know, man. He's the LVP for me.
And let's do I think we all agree, match of the night, the main event. I don't think we even need to go through that. We all gave it 5 stars and above, so you know the match of the night at this point, ladies and gentlemen. So thumbs in, thumbs up, or thumbs down for World Tag League 2020 Best of Super Juniors 27 Finals in 3, 2, 1. Let's go quickly. Out of 10, what do you give this show? I give this show an 8 out of 10. Really strong semi-main event. A instant classic late match of the year candidate in the main event. And all the tag matches built to Wrestle Kingdom very well. So it's an 8 out of 10 show for me. J News?
To quote the great Anthony Fantano, I am going to go a light 8 out of 10 on this one here. As well, just because, yeah, man, I think you said it best, SP. I mean, everything, all the other tag matches in the show had a good build for everything that's coming to Wrestle Kingdom and the Road 2 shows before the year is out. 2 tremendous main events for the World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors. Hopefully 2021 as a whole for the wrestling industry. Can't wait. Can't wait.
StatKing?
I will also go 8. I wanted to give this 8.5 just because of those last 2 matches, but the first couple on the card kind of brings it down. But just amazing final 2 matches. Definitely 8 out of 10 for me.
All right, so that is all for the World Tag League 2020 Best of Super Juniors 27 Finals. A very good show to end off the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling. J News, tell the good brothers and sisters at home where they can find you.
Oh, man. You can find me on the Instagram _JONJAY. That's _John J. Also, you can find me weekly on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, J News Japan, every single week. I got stuff coming for you guys this week. And it'll be good. It'll be good because I got some stuff to talk about as well. I'm going to get this part in here just for the sake of it. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone part of the True Heel Nation, make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel because that's what we do and that's how it goes down. StatKing, where can they find you, brother?
You can find me lurking in our Facebook group, getting into arguments with people that I should not be getting into, like somebody who said that Omega winning the AEW World Championship and going after the Impact World Championship means nothing until he wins the WWE. An idiot. And
you're a
you can
WWE
always
shill, and you're the equivalent of Sam Roberts, and you just don't count.
He said it better than I could. But you can also catch me on Dark Power covering, well, almost everything that happens on Tuesdays. I cover AEW Dark, NWA, and UWN. And you can catch me with my co-host Ness on Review of Honor, covering everything that happens inside of a Ring of Honor ring. And J News, just thank you again for having me on this. I appreciate it so much, sir.
No problem, man. No problem.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at TrueHeal_EpicSP3. You can find me every Wednesday live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. BST on the Wrestle2 YouTube channel with Alex McCarthy, Wrestling Daily, and every single Saturday right here on True Hill Heat, our weekly podcast. So, for J News of J News Japan, for the one and only StatKing, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been World Tag League 2020, Best of Super Juniors 27 Finals. We are signing off until next time.